Truckers X TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. In the previous episode, we just began the kickstart of the brand new series, and now we're in trial already, ladies and gentlemen. So let us begin where we left off. The accused is charged with 2 crimes, larceny and murder. Yesterday, the Founder's Orb was stolen from the treasure room of Temple. In addition to the theft, 2 other things were discovered in the treasure room. The dead body of Mr. Pat Roll Temple security guard and the empty treasure box that housed the orb which Mr. Roll was in charge of guarding. What's his name? We believe that Mr. Roll was murdered by the thief who stole the treasure.
To kill a guard armed with a gun. What a terrifying, bold act.
I couldn't agree more, Your Majesty. Please allow me to submit as evidence the victim's autopsy report and crime photo. We got this. Roll's autopsy report added to the court record. Nope, not this. This one. Crime photo added to the court record.
It's been a long time since we had evidence presented in court as well. It's kind of refreshing, actually.
We may rely on the power of seances, but our police still carry out investigations. Thus, any proof I provide is indisputable. Oh, really? Well, forgive me if I don't just take your word for it. I can check the evidence out myself for looking at them in the courtroom. Well, we'll see just how through you and your police were, Mr. Payne.
Such a deplorable crime. The odyssey of stealing the sacred treasure of Her Holiness, our founding mother. It's a crime that strikes at the very heart of our nation.
Exactly, Your Majesty. We mustn't let the culprit get away with these heinous deeds. Indeed, such deeds are best described as treason against the crown. Is this treasure really such a valuable object?
How could you even ask such a thing? Of course it is. Why, sealed within this treasure is the very soul, the
minima?
Of the Holy Mother.
Her soul is sealed with the treasure. I'll take that with a grain of salt.
You don't believe it, do you?
Of course, I believe it. Something tells me I better play along.
This kind of irrelevance is exactly why I dislike defense attorneys so much.
Your Honor, Your Majesty.
What is it now?
This treasure, I've never seen it, so it's a little hard for me to imagine. Could I see a photo of it or something?
Of all the outlandish requests, you defense attorneys are truly beyond the pale.
He's been getting awfully angry with me, and are those veins popping out of his forehead? It's forbidden for anyone outside the royal family to view the treasure itself. They say that anyone without the proper spiritual power would be blinded instantly. That is why the average person has never seen the treasure, Mr. Wright. I guess there are national treasures that are off limits to the public back home too. For the benefit of the shamelessly uninformed defense attorney, let me share this newspaper article. It includes photos taken about 8 years ago when the treasure was unearthed. These are the only public photos of the outer box in existence. What's more, the treasure box only leaves the temple's treasure room but once a year, for a special New Year's rite that takes place at the palace. Therefore, this treasure box has only ever been seen by a handful of people. Treasure box added to the courtroom record.
I hear there's been a string of thefts lately of historic artifacts from the temple.
Right, Your Majesty. Inexcusable thievery of precious national treasures for personal gain. and the culprit is the accused.
So he used his position as a monk in training to get his hands on the treasure. Is that it?
The accused family is by no means wealthy. To help with the family finances, he works as a tour guide in addition to his ascetic training. To become a monk.
Thank you for giving an excellent outline of the case, Mr. Payne.
That's a little bit longer than you think.
Now then, no more questions for the defense, I presume?
What? No, I do have questions.
Even more? But you just ask a bunch. Well, make it snappy. My class starts in just a few short minutes.
What? He's still planning on going to that thing? There's still a lot I don't know about the case. I should ask now while I have the chance. Let's see, what else do I need to know more about this? We have 3 options. I guess we'll click all 3. Wait, we already have the crime scene, right? The weapon. Well, that's the weapon. Mr. Payne, what was the murder weapon? The murder weapon was the treasure box itself. The empty treasure box left at the scene had a large bloodstain on it.
How utterly reprehensible using the sacred treasure box for murder.
Hello? The accused came to the treasure room with the express purpose of stealing the treasure. He climbed the altar stairs and snatched the box ready to abscond with the treasure. But he was discovered by Mr. Roll, who had come to the room in the course of his rounds. After walloping Mr. Roll on the head with the treasure box, the accused forced the bloodied housing open and made off with the treasure inside. Treasure box updated in the court record. I guess we should press all the options so that way we know what's up.
The defendant is just a little boy.
I hardly think he would be able to hit the victim, a grown man, on the head. Ah, very good point, Mr. Wright. But I'm afraid that won't help you. At the time of the crime, the accused was on the stairs leading up the altar. The accused's elevated position would more than make a difference in stature.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Ha 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 ha! Mr. Payne, your reasoning is flawless.
He's blind.
What an elegant argument. Hats off to you, Chief Prosecutor.
Your title is obviously well earned.
Oh, I don't know who said it, but okay. Well, the accused's guilt is certainly conclusive. Unless there is anything else, I'm ready to announce my verdict.
Huh?
Very well, in that case, I find the accused.
Just one moment, Your Majesty. Don't you think you're rushing the verdict just a little bit?
I told you, I have plans to attend to and... Ah! I'm late! It's already started. How did the time fly by so fast?
He's still stuck on that?
We haven't even heard the defendant's side of the story yet. Your Majesty, the defense asserts its right to cross-examine the defendant.
Huh? Did I say something funny?
Cross-examine? What do you mean by that?
What? What do you mean? I mean?
I seem to have some dim recollection of the process, but I can't quite recall.
And little wonder, and so-called defendant hasn't been questioned in over 20 years. Should I even be surprised anymore?
Anyway, I demand we let the defendant or the accused tells his side of the story. Is that really necessary?
Of course, it's necessary, Your Majesty. Maybe I should have live streamed this. What harm could I do? I say we allow the boy to speak, Your Majesty. Though I doubt he'll have anything of relevance to say. Oh, how kind of you, Your Royal Payness.
Very well, as long as it's okay with you, Mr. Payne. I'm already hopelessly late for my class anyway.
In that case, the prosecution called the accused back to the witness stand.
Oh, but before we do, I better call my wife and apologize for missing that class. Any objections?
Go for it, Your Majesty. Okay. Accused, state your name and occupation again, if you would. I'll be your guide. I'm in training to be a monk, and I'm a tour guide too.
Why me? Now, where were we?
Cross-examining the defendant, Your Majesty. Well, I'll say Your Honor.
Right, let's do that then. As the defense attorney assistant, I might add.
He sounds a little dispirited. His wife must have given him a piece of her mind.
Well, the defense had better get to it and make it quick, if you please.
The defense? Mr. Wright, I didn't know you were a lawyer.
Well, I am, and I'm here to defend you, Albie.
Don't worry, all you have to do is tell the truth and you'll be alright. You tricked me!
What?
If I knew you were a lawyer, I wouldn't have given you that tour. Give back that magatama I gave you yesterday. That was yesterday?
Albie, what's gone into you?
Don't talk to me! You disgust me!
Now, even Albie's against me. But why?
This must be a new experience for you, Mr. Wright, being loathed by a client. Now then, accused, please give the court your testimony. The incident occurred around noon, during the break between morning and afternoon dances of devotion. I want you to tell the court what you were doing around that time. Alright.
Witness testimony. The accused account.
I didn't kill Mr. Roll and I didn't steal the treasure. I'm not allowed to go anywhere near the treasure room. I've never seen that treasure box with a green Chinese butterfly on it. When the incident happened, I was in the hallway planning out on my tour route.
We played the demo version, so we know what's the contradiction here. Were you well acquainted with the victim?
Yes, he used to chat with me whenever we ran into each other in the temple. Mr. Wall was a monk in training when he was a kid too, you know?
I bet Albie looked up to him.
But he had to give that up and go to work with his family needed money. That's why he became a guard, but at least that way he could still stay on at the temple. He was so proud when he was put in charge of the guarding in the treasure box. He even got to carry the box to the palace for the New Year's rite. The victim's parents apparently both died relatively young, so Mr. Rawl had to support his younger brothers and sisters as well. But even with his job as a security guard, I'm sure things couldn't have been easy for him.
It sounds like his circumstances and Albie's were very similar.
Mr. Rawl encouraged me to never give up. Albie, you train hard and make sure you become a monk one day. Don't end up like me, he said. He was always cheering me on in my training and in my tour guide business too. Why in the world would I kill a nice man like that?
Yes, I see. You express yourself well. For defense, now that you heard the accused's account, are you finally satisfied? If so, let's draw this to an expeditious conclusion. But your majesty, I haven't even cross-examined the defendant yet. That wasn't the end of it? It's been so long, I don't rightly recall what this cross-examining thing is all about.
A judge who doesn't know what cross-examination is? What fresh hell is this?
I really do wish I could remember how it works.
Should I give the judge a refresher on cross-examination? Not necessary, for me, at least. I better save my breath. Exactly. The judge doesn't exactly seem like a model student. He'll just have to watch and see how it's done. Cross-examination. The accused. We got 5 tries out of this. I didn't kill Mr. Roll. I didn't steal the treasure. I'm not allowed to go anywhere near the treasure room. I've never seen that treasure box with a green Crudinees present. Present? We are supposed to present this.
Objection!
Accept. Play the demo, so I know what's up. Oh, Albie, why would you lie to me? So you say you never laid your eyes on the treasure box, is that right? That's right. It's forbidden. So I never do that. In that case, how did you know there was a green butterfly on it? Huh? Because I saw the picture of it in that newspaper article. Nope. Take another look. These photos are in black and white. You couldn't possibly tell what color the butterfly is from these pictures. Ah! Hold on. His bag. Did it just move? Pokuka. I still don't understand what he said. I beg your pardon? Pokuka is a word in Crudinees that people use when they are surprised.
You just exposed a lie, so this is the power of cross-examination, is it?
I should be the one shocked here by your shocking lack of understanding.
But just a moment. If the accused was lying, then that just makes him even more suspicious than ever.
Ah, and this just makes things worse for me than ever. Albie, are you hiding something? Please give only true statements. I can't help you if you don't tell the truth. Darn, I just can't seem to get him to open up to me. So accused, you have seen the treasure box with your own eyes after all, haven't you? Well, maybe I did take a peek one time a long time ago when I was cleaning the treasure room. Be right back. Hold up, I'll edit this out, but I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Maybe I think we already said that. But you weren't in the treasure room at the time of the incident, right? Of course I wasn't. That is a lie. You were most definitely inside the treasure room on the day of the incident. And I have proof. He does? This was found on the floor of the treasure room. It's a scroll entitled Notice and contains a list of temple monk duties. These instructions pertain to the day of the incident.
And what exactly is that supposed to prove?
The accused's fingerprints were found on the scroll. What? Oh no! Where is it? It's not here! I must have dropped it somewhere! Indeed, you must drop it when you were busy murdering the victim. Notice added to the courtroom. No. Then that means Albie was there on the day of the incident.
Ha 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 ha! So this is the power of cross-examination. The more the accused talks, the guiltier he points himself.
Yes, it would seem so, Your Majesty. He predicted my argument and had evidence ready to refute it. How was any of that supposed to help the accused? See? I told you can't trust lawyers in their lies.
Her benevolence already said the kid's guilty.
Just declare him guilty and get it over with. No, everything's going all wrong. Shadow? What do I do?
As I suspected, this cross-examination has served no purpose whatsoever.
No, you're wrong.
But armed as we are with her benevolence inside, there's no reason to doubt his guilt.
Then I guess I'll just have to poke holes in this insight of hers.
By the way, this didn't prove to be very interesting at all, Mr. Payne. Nevertheless, I will now finally announce my verdict.
Wait just one moment, Your Majesty. I haven't seen this divination seance for myself yet. As a defense, I have the right to check it.
Is that really necessary? I have to get home and apologize to my wife.
I guess she really did give him the business. Your Majesty, I enthusiastically support having Mr. Wright see the seance.
You do? And why is that, Mr. Payne?
Don't you want to see it? See the lawyer being utterly crushed by the power of the seance? And then watch him tearfully beg for mercy?
Well now.
I'm sure he'll make up for not getting to go to that class with your wife.
It certainly does sound worth seeing, and it'd give me a juicy tidbit to tell the missus. Ha 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 ha!
I've been reduced to a juicy tidbit?
Well, for an interloper, I imagine you do have to see it for yourself to be convinced. It's certainly unprecedented, but let's have the divination seance perform again. But then, right after tearful begging, I really do have to be going.
The only tearful begging is going to come from prosecution from we're through. How pitiful the defense, still scrambling desperately for a foothold, blissfully unaware that defendant and despair are all that await him. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a cutscene. There she is. Her benevolence.
Your benevolence, Raifa Padma Kurain. Thank you for coming all this way once again.
Your gratitude is unnecessary. This is simply my duty. Barb-headed attorney. Yes? I am told you question the veracity of the sacred divination seance. It would seem the depths of your irreverence and blasphemy, I don't know how to say it, are lost on you. I'm just a foreigner, ignorant in the ways and customs of this country. I apologize in advance for anything rude I might say or do, your benevolence. All I want is a fair trial for Albie. You would imply that the trials of this country are unfair? Do explain, outsider. How verdicts founded on truths imparted by the very souls of the dead lack impartially. What's fair about trials with no defense and no chance for the accused to tell their story?
How dare you speak to her benevolence in that manner?
Did you hear that? How he talked to benevolence? What does he know anything about her? Ignorant outsider. I don't know. I can't say anything about that. Yikes. Looks like I really stuck my foot into it this time. Punish him! Punish him! Silence, one and all. Is she standing up for me? Be not disquieted, my people. He merely expresses his opinion. Well, well, looks like our benevolence is going to be more reasonable than I thought. Attorneys are ghastly creatures with souls stained black by brazen untruths. The words of a lowly worm such as that are not worth troubling yourselves over.
Alright, I take that back.
None of his prattling can sway the truths of my insights. Rest assured, he will soon see the error of his foolish ways.
Now then, your benevolence, the divination seance, if you would.
Certainly. Nay, Nana, my robe.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Incense, Song of Ceremony, Boy's Voice. A bigger boy's voice, Pain, and that'll be it. Like I said, we already did a demo, so we know what to expect of this. What just happened? An image appeared in the pool. A final message from the victim's soul, the last communication of his Mitama. The Divination Séance has revealed to us.
Her benevolence can use her power of spirit communion to project a victim's memories of the last few moments before their demise.
So what we saw in the pool is what Mr. Roll actually experienced.
In the victim's memories, we see the accused raising a weapon up over his head. This is not consistent with the findings of the police investigations. There has to be some kind of mistake. I didn't do it.
This looks bad for Albie. Really, really bad.
Now do you see why the incredible pain? I'm the incredible pain?
More than I can express. We're gonna go over 30 minutes after this. But even if there really are the victim's last memories, what can I do with them?
There it is! There's the face of a man being utterly crushed. Oh, how long I've waited to see it. Isn't it wonderfully gratifying, your majesty?
Oh yes, very satisfying indeed. Now are you finally convinced, traveler, the accused is most assuredly guilty?
Am I really the only unbiased one here?
Now then, I think we've been amused enough. If you give up now, I won't even invoke the Defense Culpability Act against you. You'll be free to slink back to your own country with your tail between your legs.
Defense Culpability Act? What's that?
What? You mean you honestly don't know?
No.
What's with all of this hubbub?
Well. Not only is he a lying, black-hearted lawyer, he's also an imbecile. Your Majesty, I think you better explain the Defense Culpability Act to him.
Yes, I think I better. The Defense Culpability Act, or DC Act for short, is as follows. In the name of Her Eminence, those who would support criminals will be deemed just as guilty. In other words, if you help the accused by defending him and he is found guilty, you will receive the same sentence as he.
What? What kind of insane law is that?
Under the DC Act, many an attorney has been convicted and met with grim fate. Some went to prison, others received the death penalty. That's why there are so few in our country today who admit to being an attorney.
That's as it should be. The history of our courts proves that attorneys are black soul creatures who will tell any lie to save the accused. Thus, attorneys deserve to be exterminated. I've never felt so hostility coming at me from so many sides. What could have happened to make everyone feel this way? You fell right into my trap, Phoenix Wright. Your win streak against me and my brother ends today. With the Séance and the DC Act on my side, I'll finally get my revenge. So that's why you're so eager to have me defend Alibi? I'll be, my bad, chased out of if you live back home. Fate brought me to the foothills of crime. I thank my lucky stars that I'm chief prosecutor here now.
Defense, know that if I rule the accused is guilty, you will go to prison too.
That explains Albie's reaction earlier.
I already know what this is. It's a flashback. I'd rather not talk during flashbacks.
Your Majesty, isn't a prison sentence a bit lenient after all? After all, we're talking about treason. One should pay for such crime with one's life.
Yes, I believe the death penalty might be appropriate under these circumstances.
Death penalty? No way! You're kidding, right, Your Majesty?
Ha 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 ha! Do I look like I'm kidding? I'll have you put your life and your dark tainted soul on the line here.
Death! This can't be happening. The courts of resignation. Our courts are well known as thus. In this land where my seances provide the truth and no attorneys can intervene, criminals know that all they can do is resign themselves to their fate.
Oh, foreign lawyer, I ask you once more. Are you sure you still want to defend the accused?
There's Maya to think of in all this too. I can't just lay down my life. What in the world should I do? There's no other choice but to continue defense. Yo, if I were to misclick that, that would be a damn fool. Isn't this why I became a lawyer in the first place? Why is this an unnecessary flashback? To help those with no one on their side? I can't just abandon everything I believe in. All I can do now is stand firm and fight. Well, don't hold your tears back on my account, Phoenix Wright. Admit your defeat and grovel before me, the chief prosecutor, for your life.
Objection!
Even if it means being subject to Defense Culpability Act. I will defend Albie!
What? But Mr. Wright!
The defendant insists he's innocent, and not even a divination seance should be accepted without examination. Pokuka!
That's shock, right? But if I'm found guilty, you'll get the death penalty too. Even knowing that, you still want to defend me?
I don't know what happened in the past, but it looks like everyone in this country considers lawyers to be liars. So I can understand if you don't believe me. But I still believe in you and your innocence. So all I have to do is keep believing and find the truth. That's all there is to it.
Barb-headed attorney, you continue to amuse me. Though your barber jabs are proving to be more than mere jokes.
Your benevolence. Believe me when I say this attorney will knock your insides out.
Insolent, disrespectful attorney. You'll have plenty of time to regret you're fully in the Twilight realm. I really love his theme. I really do.
No, not a wise move, traveler. Not wise at all. You should have taken the chance I offered to save your life. But you have made your choice. The Defense Culpability Act will be applied in this case. And with this verdict, you'll both soon be parting with your heads.
The souls of the departed speak only the truth, and I but give their message a voice. If you think my insights contain falsehood, I challenge you to prove it!